He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. One sentence from a billionaire was enough to turn a crowded room against one man. A false accusation. No proof. No mercy. In seconds, a black man's reputation, job, and future collapsed, while everyone watched and said nothing. But here's what the billionaire never expected. That one lie would expose secrets buried under millions of dollars, surveillance cameras, and silence. What begins as public humiliation spirals into fear, chaos, and consequences no amount of money can stop. Watch closely, because this story isn't about theft. It's about power, and what happens when power lies. The rain slid down the glass walls of Whitmore Plaza, a 40-story corporate tower in downtown Los Angeles. Inside, everything gleamed: polished marble floors, minimalist art, and quiet wealth. Ethan Whitmore, billionaire tech investor and public philanthropist, stepped out of the elevator surrounded by assistants. His presence changed the temperature of any room. Conversations died. People moved aside. Across the lobby, Caleb Johnson, a 36-year-old facilities supervisor, was finishing his night shift report. He wore a gray uniform, his name stitched neatly on the chest. He'd worked in the building for 6 years. Never late, never written up. Ethan's phone buzzed. He checked it, frowned, and suddenly stopped walking. "Where's my watch?" he asked. Assistants rose. One shook her head. "You had it in the boardroom, sir." Ethan's eyes scanned the lobby, then landed on Caleb. "You," Ethan said sharply. "Come here." Caleb looked up, confused, and walked over. "Yes, sir." Ethan pointed at Caleb's wrist. "What is that?" Caleb instinctively pulled back his sleeve. A plain black digital watch. Ethan's jaw tightened. "Security," he said calmly. "Lock the doors." The lobby went silent. Ethan stepped closer, voice loud enough for everyone to hear. "My watch is a limited prototype, worth more than your annual salary," he said. "And you were cleaning the boardroom tonight." Caleb blinked. "Yes, but I never." "So you admit you were there?" "That's my job," Caleb replied, trying to stay calm. "I didn't touch anything." Ethan turned to the growing crowd. Funny how things disappear when certain people are around. The words hit like a punch. Caleb felt heat rush to his face. "Sir, I've never stolen anything in my life." Ethan smiled thinly. "Everyone says that." Security guards approached. One grabbed Caleb's arm. "Please," Caleb said, voice cracking. "Check the cameras." Ethan waved dismissively. "Do it." Minutes later, a guard returned. "Sir, the boardroom cameras were offline for 12 minutes. Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Convenient." Phones came out. Whispers spread. "Search him," Ethan ordered. They did. Pockets, bag, nothing. Ethan leaned in close to Caleb. "You people always think you'll get away with it." Caleb's breath caught. "You don't know me." "I know enough," Ethan said, straightening up. "Call the police." Caleb spent the night in a holding cell. The charge was pending investigation, but the damage was immediate. His employer suspended him without pay. A blurry video of the confrontation went viral by morning. Headlines didn't wait for facts. Facilities worker questioned in theft at Whitmore Plaza. At home, Caleb's wife Naomi watched the clip on her phone, hands shaking. Their 10-year-old son asked why kids at school were calling his dad a thief. Meanwhile, Detective Laura Kim reviewed the case file. Something bothered her. No evidence, no missing watch recovered, and a camera outage that lined up too perfectly. She requested internal server logs from Whitmore Plaza. The request was denied. That same night, Ethan Whitmore stood in his penthouse, staring at the city lights. His assistant entered nervously. "Sir, the watch just appeared in your private safe." Ethan's expression darkened. "What?" It was logged as accessed at 2:14 a.m., remotely. Ethan felt a chill. He hadn't been home. Escalation and chaos. The next morning, an anonymous email hit multiple newsrooms. Subject line: Whitmore Plaza. What really happened? Attached were internal maintenance logs, proving the camera outage was manually triggered, from Ethan's own admin credentials. Then came another leak, a financial audit showing Whitmore Industries quietly settling discrimination lawsuits under NDAs. Stock prices dipped. Ethan went on television.
"This is a coordinated smear," he said, "by criminals and opportunists." But the leaks didn't stop. Caleb was released without charges, but his name was everywhere. He walked through his neighborhood feeling watched. One night, he found a note taped to his door. "The truth is coming. Stay safe." At Whitmore Plaza, employees received another video, footage from a hidden angle showing Ethan placing the watch into his own safe before leaving the building that night. The video ended with text on screen: "Power lies. Data remembers." Ethan slammed his fist into his desk. "Find who's doing this." His head of security hesitated. "Sir, access logs point to a former systems architect, fired 3 years ago. Name: Marcus Reed." Ethan tracked Marcus to an abandoned data center outside the city. Inside, servers hummed, screens glowed, and standing in the center was Marcus, calm, composed. "You ruined an innocent man," Marcus said. "Just like you ruined me." Ethan scoffed. "You think this makes you a hero?" Marcus nodded toward a screen showing a live countdown. "In 60 seconds, everything goes public." Ethan lunged. A struggle. A gun clattered to the floor. Security sirens wailed in the distance. Marcus looked at Ethan, breathing hard. "I didn't touch your watch," he said. "You did, and you blamed him because it was easy." Police flooded the building. The countdown hit 0. By morning, Whitmore Industries was in freefall. Federal investigations opened. Executives resigned. Ethan Whitmore was arrested, not for the accusation, but for what the data uncovered beneath it. Caleb stood outside the courthouse weeks later as reporters asked him questions. "What do you want to say to Ethan Whitmore?" one shouted. Caleb thought for a moment. "I want him to know," he said quietly, "that the worst part wasn't the arrest. It was how fast people believed him." That night, Caleb went home. Life didn't magically fix itself, but the truth was out. And somewhere in a dark cell, a billionaire learned something money never taught him. A lie can be louder than the truth, but it never lasts longer.